What's up guys, welcome back to another Photoshop tutorial. I'm Kenneth91619 and in today's tutorial I'll be showing you guys all the keyboard shortcuts associated with Photoshop as of I guess CS6 and basically so you can become more proficient, so it's less time consuming for you when you're working on projects or just messing around and photoshopping photos that you took. When you're out with your friends, you just want to make it look cooler or whatever. And basically the way I've decided to do this is we're going to start from the top of the keyboard and work our way down. So the first row being the F keys at the top of the keyboard, and then the number keys, and then Q through P or Q through closing bracket, and so on and so forth. So without further ado guys, let's get started. And I'll have little annotations at the bottom to show you again the keyboard shortcuts as I say them. So our first shortcut, starting from the F keys, there's only 4 of them that I found out at least. Starting with F5, you have your brushes palette. So here you can see all your brush presets and whatnot. I don't know why I can't access mine. I was doing too much messing around and I kind of graded all this out. But that would be what your brushes are. So instead of going over to like the brush tool and doing that, you can just press F5 and voila, you're good to go. And right after F5, you got the F6, which is your color palette, which would be on your layer palette, over your layer palette. So you have your color, you press F6 to hide it or to show it. Typically Photoshop has it showing already as it is. After that's going to be your F7, which shows your layers, your channels, your paths. So basically all your layering, you can hide that and you can put it back out. That'll be your F7. And this is all without hitting Ctrl or Alt, so it's just the F7 key or the F5 key. And then finally the F8 key shows the info. So it's a world of this Lotus car. So the red will be 240, the green 112, blue 141. Got the coordinates on there, your CMYK, your 8-bit, and all that cool stuff. The dock size, so 69.8 megabytes out of 775. So that would be all these pictures combined. That'll be your F8 key. And moving on to the next row, those are the only F key shortcuts I found. Moving on to the next row, your number keys are your opacity. So currently right now we're in 100 opacity, and if you press 1, you go down to 10 opacity, and if you click 1 again, it's going to go to 11, or it's just not going to listen to me. So 1 is 10, 2 is 20, or 12. So it's a combination of numbers. So 1 is 10, 2 is 12. Or what we can do is just go to 2 will be 20, and 3 will be 30, 4 will be 40, 5 50, 6 60, 7 70, 8 8, 90, and then 0 would be 100. So 1 would be 10, 0 would be 100, and everything in between. And you can do different combinations. If you put 30, and you put 4, actually let's take that back to 30. Yeah. Whoops. Got 10. So if you want to get 30, you have to put 1 first, then 3 would be 30. Then you press 4, would be 40. There we go. Okay, so we got 34. So you have 4 to 30. 30 is 4. It's a little confusing, but if you just stick with the 10 increments, you'll be fine. After 0, you have your hyphen, which would be your zoom out, and your plus sign / equal sign would be zoom in. So not exactly sure why I'm not zooming in or zooming out. Hold on, let's zoom in real quick. And then press to select. So it's zooming out. Oh, my apologies guys. For the zoom out, zoom in, you have to press and hold Ctrl R. So your hyphen will be Ctrl R, and hyphen will be zoom out. And the button right next to that would be the plus / equal sign. Press and hold Ctrl R, then press the button and you get your zoom in. So zoom out and zoom in would be those 2 buttons next to the 0. And then right after that guys, you'll move on to the next row. And the next row, starting with Q, would be quick mask. So for you guys that don't know what quick mask is, it's basically, to use an analogy, painter's analogy. Painters use masking tape to mask the areas they don't want the color to go on. So for instance, you don't want the paint to go on the frame of a window, for instance, or the base of the wall. Certain things that are hanging on the wall, for instance, the doorknobs if you're painting the door. So you're masking things that you don't want to be, in a sense, painted. So if I wanted to change the color of this car, for instance, I would just need to paint over this, and it'll show up in red. Then want to, change the color of this, and you press Q again to select that selection, and then you'd hit invert it, and then you change the color of the car, for instance. And that's how you do that. Moving on, I'm not giving too in-depth explanation to what each shortcut key does. I'm just letting you guys know what they are, so you guys can use them and be quicker with things. So next one will be the magic wand, and that will be W. Just by simply hitting W, you got your magic wand out. You can select things like the color of this car, which would be anything orange. You have your tolerance and all that cool stuff, and that's magic wand. And then you have E for eraser. It's one of the more easy ones, I would say. C for eraser. And then you have R, which is your blur tool. So it's kind of funny, as a compass there. So that's that. So whoops, nope, I don't want that. Deselect. Okay, so that's R. And then you got T for your type tool. This is one of the more simple ones, still, one I figured out fairly fairly soon after I started using Photoshop. So Lotus, and you press that, just put that there. And then right after you have your type tool, you have Y, which is your history brush. Click Y, and this photo's not rationalized, so I gotta do that first. So that's that. And then after that, you have U, which is your shape tool. Click U, and then that you can go up here and change shape, path, pixels. And then I have a triangle highlighted, and I just did a recent tutorial on this as well, using the custom shape tool. So that's shape tool. And right after that, you're gonna have eyedropper, and this will obviously tell you the color of the vehicles: blacks, orange, white, green, brown. So it'll change the color on your foreground color to whatever color that you, I guess, click. That's your eyedropper. Moving on, we got O, which is your dodge tool. And this is your dodge tool. I've actually never used a dodge tool, so I wouldn't even know what this is, to be honest with you guys. Moving on, we got P for pen tool. This is something that I've used a lot in high school when transferring hand-drawn things into Photoshop. So hand draw something, use the pen tool to mark where all the lines are at it, and that's how I get my digital version of my drawing over. That's how I learned how to do it, at least. So that's your pen tool. And moving right after that, let's take this off real quick. Let's just go to deselect. After we got your brush size, so first of all, we're gonna have to just go select our brush. Now I'm not gonna skip down to that shortcut key just yet, or else I'm gonna ruin my rhythm here. So you got your brush size, which would be your bracket sign. So you got your I would just say your left bracket would be small, and your right would be making the brush size bigger. So that's your brush size. Alright, now going over the same row with Control. So Control Q would be quit, and I don't want to hit that because it's going to quit Photoshop. And right after that, W would be, Control W would be close. Again, I don't want to click that. and then Ctrl E would be merge. So first I would have to select two different layers and hit Ctrl E, and voila, layers have been merged. I'm going to revert that by hitting to a shortcut key later. Right after they got Ctrl R, which is the rulers. This is definitely helpful if you're trying to center something, or you can just go up here and use the vertical and horizontal centers to align text, for instance. But that's how you use rulers. So let me just hide those punks. After that, we got Ctrl T, which would be a transform tool. It's something I use a lot. Zoom out a bit by hitting Ctrl underscore, I suppose, and then you can just retransform, do all that, hit shift to level it, hit enter. Okie doke, we got that going. We got Ctrl Y, which would be your proof colors, and I'm not really a big fan of proof colors. See if you can notice a difference. They kind of get a little whitewashed there. And you got Ctrl U, which is your hue or saturation. So they'll open up this tab. You can mess with that. You know, I'll make it a bit red, a bit deeper, maybe a bit dark. Yeah, a bit darker, not too red. Okay. That's how you would do that. And then you would have Ctrl I, which would be to invert the image's color. And right after that would be Ctrl O, which is open a file. So if you want to open something new, for instance, that's how you do it. Ctrl P would be to print something. And you know, I'm gonna print something, but not really. And right after that, you'd have your move layer down, which would be your, I suppose, your bracket symbols. So there you go. So you can move between your layers without having to touch the mouse. You can almost essentially do, well, not everything without the mouse. You still need the mouse to do quick masking and all that kind of stuff. Alright guys, so we're completely done with this row, both with just the independent keys and with Control and the keys. So moving on to the next row, we got the A through your apostrophe, your comma, right before the enter sign. And A would be select path. So that would be if you had a path here. So if you do that, and then do this, and then connect the dots, and then we hit Control A. No, stop it. And then we would hit just A, go ahead and select this path and move it around. That's how you would do that, guys. And I don't want that anymore. Moving on, we'll go to S, which is your clone clamp. And again, I'm not a big fan of using the clone clamp. I'm sorry, what the fuck am I saying? Clone stamp. Just took me a second to realize I was saying something completely stupid. My apologies, guys. Right after S, you got D, which is default colors. So that would be your foreground and background. We'll go back to black and white. So doing a little review here. If we were to go back and go to, let's see here. What was the shortcut key for this? It was the eyedropper. So we go back to I, and we changed the foreground color to orange, and then we went back to D and hit default colors. We go to black and white. So that's that. Then we go to F, which is your screen mode. You can go to full screen, normal mode, and I guess slightly zoomed in was what I would call it. And those are your different screen modes. And right after that is G, which is gradient, something I do use a lot. And you can do your gradients. Of course, I'd have to change it here, and nope. I'd have to do, let's see, let's do this one. Like so. Put soft light. Did I delete a picture as well? Hold on, let's go back here. So I think I might have actually deleted a picture. Okay, yeah. Oh, no wait, I need to create a new layer. Then do my gradients. Sorry guys, just bam. Then we can go to soft light. No, not hard light, soft light. And we got that overlaid. And why not just Why not just merge these by clicking Ctrl E to merge? Bam, merge these layers. It's a little review slash continuing. After G we have H, which is your hand tool. Use this little bad boy to move shit around. But since it's just one image, doesn't really matter. After hand tool we got J, which is your healing brush. Again, a tool I don't usually use too much. And then I'm assuming it's gonna load. Let's see what it actually does. It might revert the image back to how it was before. No, it just made it look ugly. I don't know what just happened there. Okay, moving on, guys. You go to K, which is slice. You can, you know, be like an operator. K. Is this K? No, this is still using the healing spot. Interesting. Okay, hold on. Let's go back here and hit K again. Okay, so K is not working. It was slice. It's not doing it anymore. So let's move on. L is lasso. This is definitely something we all should know. And I'm not using, no, I don't like this lasso tool. I like this lasso tool. Freeform. So that's your lasso tool. Moving on, you have your colon and semicolon, which only has a control function. So control semicolon would be show hide guidelines. And I don't have any guidelines as of now, so I can't show or hide them, so it's not working. Right after that, you got your comma and your quotation marks, and which would be show grid and hide grid. Of course, this again is with the control key as well. Now doing this row again with control, starting from A and going to L, since our colon slash semicolon and our quotation marks only used control and control function. So going back to A, control A would be select all. So that would be select all. And control S would be save. So we're saving this. We are not saving this. Control D would be deselect, which is something I used often when I was doing this tutorial. And then control F would be apply last filter. So for instance, if I applied a filter to this, like a Gaussian blur, let's do 3.5. Okay. Okay. Right, and we're gonna hit Control F, and it'll do a Gaussian blur to this one. I think that's how usually it works. Or it might be just on this specific layer. Yes, on this specific layer. Okay, so it only applies to that. Alright, moving on, guys. We got Control G, which is the group the layers. So we would have to do a multiple selection. Let's unlock this layer real quick. So I'm going to select all these, Control G, group, Control Z is to go back. We'll go over that in a bit. Control H is show hide extras, which again okay, so it's like this little X here. I don't know what it does exactly. We got Control J is copy active layer. So I actually don't have any layer selected. So Control J will be copy that specific layer. And that's that. I'm going to delete that. Control K is prefs, which I don't really go into, so preferences would be that. L is Control L is levels, so your levels, so you don't have to go over here in the adjustment tabs and pull out a level, or sometimes you don't even have it here. You have to go over to window, then do adjustments. So just Control L, boom, you got levels right in front of you. Voila. Okay, moving on to the last row. We got Z. For this last row, I'm going to do both the single key and the control function combo all at once, so we don't have to repeat the row over. So Z is your zoom tool. As we all know, zoom in is just Z. Press and hold Alt, zoom out. So that's a little trick there. And then Control Z, whoops, Control Z would be undo. So we undid this copy that we deleted. It's Control Z. And now we move on to X, which is toggle forward and background color. So forwarding that back and forth. And Control X would be to cut something. And you obviously know Control X, and then Control V would be paste. So then we move on to C. Just C is crop. You know, okay, crop that and hit enter. We didn't like it. We hit Control Z. Voila, and Control D to deselect once again. Alright guys, and now we have Control C, which is copy, and then V, which is be your move tool, which is usually your primary tool you always start with, and then Control V would be your paste. So Control Z is undo, redo, Control X is cut, Control C is copy, Control V is paste, sorry. And these function keys actually apply to everything on your computer. You can go on Google, highlight something, Control C is copy, and then paste it into Facebook, Control V. So you're copying and pasting the quotes from a website to your Facebook. You can do it straight from your keyboard shortcuts, and that applies to basically every software and program out there. And moving on from that, we got B, which is your brush tool. Something, again, I do use a lot. That's your brush tool. And then Control B would be your color balance. Mess with this a little bit. Liking that. Okay, so that's your control balance. Moving on to N is your notes. And I do not have any notes, so that's not going to happen. And then Control N is new file. A new file. So sorry that opened up on my second monitor, but that's new file. Moving on, we got M, which is the marquees tool. It's like your shape tool. You can go over to like fill pattern. It's the only patterns I have, so it's really gay. So so let's go back to color balance. Okay, and then Control M would be curves. Curves, another tool that's very helpful. Control M. It's you have betrayed me, M. What is your deal, buddy? Should open up curves. Let's see. No. It's not opening curves. Don't know why, don't ask me. But that's what it should have done. And then we move into our more what I'd call extra shortcut keys. So these extra shortcut keys would be, first one would be merge visible to new layer. So to do that, we're going to hit Shift, Alt, Control, and E. So Shift, Alt, Control, and E. That would be to merge visible to new layer. Now moving on, we have Alt Delete or Alt Backspace to fill with foreground. So Alt Delete, black, and then Alt Backspace should be the opposite. Or Alt Backspace. No! What have you done? Okay, let's delete that real quick. And let's do Alt Backspace. One chance. Okay, so it's the same thing. It's not and or other. So it's just Alt Delete is foreground, or Alt Backspace is also foreground. And moving on, you can fill with the background, which is Ctrl Delete, which would be the white, or Ctrl and Backspace, which would be white. Moving on, you got the Alt plus or the /Alt plus, which is a scroll up and down through the layers. So Alt and then the plus sign, or Alt and the was it Backspace? And no, it's a broken key. It's not working for me. The way I scrolled through was Ctrl and the brackets. That definitely worked for me. So I'd stick with that one instead of using the Alt. It's not working for me. After we got the image size shortcut, which is Control Alt I, Control Alt I, and change the pixel, the height, resolution, and all that good stuff. Then we have the canvas size shortcut, which is Control Alt C, canvas, and we have the step backwards, which is the Control Alt Z to move that specific layer up or down our layer list. Then we have Invert Selection, which is Ctrl-Shift-I, or just Control-I. That works a whole lot better than that. And then Control-Choose Transform. Enter key you can use to commit a type without actually touching something. So for instance, if I go to Brush Tool, and I go in here and I decide to put, I want 400 size pixel brush. Just hit enter, bam. Usually something everyone really knows, to be honest. And we have one last shortcut, which is repeat last transformation, which is Shift Alt Control T. So Shift Alt Control T. That was my last transformation, was my copy for that layer. So that's going to be that shortcut key, guys. And once again, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you found this very informative, and I hope it helps you guys be more proficient in Photoshop. And to be honest, if you're doing like a 30 minutes, I don't even know how to call it, project in Photoshop, I guess, and you know all these keyboard shortcuts by heart, you can probably save yourself 2 minutes from using the keyboard shortcuts versus going through like filter and just all these, just going the traditional route, I guess. Yeah, guys, I hope you liked it. We're gonna have annotations at the bottom as I'm saying these, so I'd have to edit those in, of course. And thanks for watching, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. Definitely look forward to more Photoshop tutorials. I'll be doing some Adobe After Effects tutorials very soon. Waiting for my friend from Germany to come back, so you can help me out with that. And obviously gameplays. I'm always doing gameplays, guys. So definitely being very, very busy. So hope you guys enjoy the video. Hit the subscribe button, guys. Hit the like button. Leave a comment if you guys didn't understand anything or something, not anything, but didn't understand something specific, and let me know so I can correct and change the method that I'm using to something more suited for you guys. But then again, guys, thank you for watching, and I'm just gonna let you guys go and enjoy the rest of your day. Peace.